Court remands former Minister of Power Mohammed Wakil in prison. Women set targets for leadership and public office as the world marks International Women's Day. And the Oyo State Police confirms arrest of members of Odua People's Congress. Many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Oni Adekunle. A federal high court in Abuja has remanded former Minister of State for Power Mohammed Wakil in prison until March 31st, 2021 over his alleged involvement in the mismanagement of the 27 billion naira set aside for the payment of the retirement benefits to staff of the Power Holding Company of Nigeria (PHCN). The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) slammed two count charges bordering on corruption and abuse of office on Wakil alongside two companies for allegedly receiving 148 million naira as gratification out of the 27 billion naira approved outstanding insurance premiums and claims of deceased and incapacitated staff of the PHCN. The defendant, however, pleaded not guilty to the charges. Counsel for the prosecution, Benjamin Manji, asked the court to set a date for commencement of trial. Consequently, Justice Belgore adjourned the matter till March 31st for determination of bail application and remanded the defendant in the custody of the EFCC. And today is International Women's Day, a day set aside to celebrate outstanding women in politics, business, social and cultural life. It is also a day set aside to highlight the challenges faced by women globally. In celebrating the day, the National Center for Women Development has challenged women to rise up and actively participate in the electoral process and determine leaders that will emerge at every level. TV360's Tunji Oye now reports.
Statistics from the 2019 general elections, just like other elections, show that more women register to vote than the men. With the theme of this year's International Women's Day being Choose to Challenge, women gathered here say they are ready to challenge the system that produces leaders in the country by actively participating in the entire process.
If women do not vote and use their civil right effectively, how can they expect to be elected, occupy a political or positive position or appointed position in decision making? We therefore choose to challenge women non-participation. What went wrong? How can they use their civil right and responsibility to the best of their advantage?
The National Center for Women Development says it is time to put an end to lamenting the lack of representation of women in elective and appointed positions in the country, stressing that with the population of women and their voting power, they can determine who emerges at the ballot box.
It is imperative that women are given fair, equal, and unrestricted access to participate in the election and political decision-making from the grassroots.
In 2019, the total number of registered voters by gender was 84,004,084, out of which 53% were female and 47% were male. The women, however, seem to be ready to use their numerical strength and influence to challenge the system. With this decision, just maybe Nigeria may produce the first female president in 2023. From Lagos, Tunji Oye, TV360 News.
I'm now being joined on the news by Regina Omoagege, the Executive Director of Women Education Advocacy and Development Initiative. Thank you, Dr. Omoagege, for joining us on the news, and happy International Women's Day to you. Now, this day is a special day.
Same to you, my dear.
This day is a special day set aside to celebrate women in all spheres of life. Now, what are some of those achievements that Nigerian women have achieved and is worthy of celebration?
I think you should be a bit audible, but I heard you that today has been set aside to celebrate women.
Yeah.
But the Nigerian women aspect of it, I didn't hear you well.
Now, I said, what are some of those achievements that Nigerian women have achieved now and is worthy of celebration?
Oh, Nigerian women have achieved a lot, home and abroad, scattered all over the world. Our pride. They are doing. Take example of Okonjo Iweala. Take example of her sister. Take example of Amina Mohammed. We are so many, all of us spread all over the world. Nigerian women.
Now let's look at the theme of this year's celebration, Choose to Challenge. Now, which of course gives credence to the fact that change could be challenging. Now, how would you say Nigerian women can challenge the prevalent gender imbalance in the workplace and the African society generally?
Even before the team, Nigerian women have been on the challenge. They have been striving to excel. In all walk of space you see them. In all departments they are there, representing the women folk as much as they can. Kudos to Nigerian women. They've taken the challenge even before this team was brought out. We are proud of them.
Well, Dr. Regina Mwagege, the Executive Director of Women Education Advocacy and Development Initiative, thank you very much for speaking to us on the news. And moving on, and still on the International Women's Day, in spite of the devastating impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on lives and livelihoods, women have remained resilient as they continue to play pivotal roles in positions of leadership and also as frontline health workers. At the same time, over the past year, several women have faced sex-based violence. And to address this, the Center for Social Justice, with the support of the European Union today, hosted various groups to drive legal response to sexual and gender-based violence. Stakeholders stressed that it is important to address gender inequalities by deepening women's participation in politics, economy, and other critical sectors in the society.
Issues that lawyers face in prosecuting these cases, to give tips on successful prosecution strategies, as well as what defense lawyers may likely throw at the prosecution team. So it is a targeted capacity building event which will help lawyers secure more convictions in deserving cases, not necessarily throwing people into jail, but securing convictions in deserving cases, because a good number of cases bordering on rape and other violence against women are lost through technicalities in the law court. So we are here to bring international best practices and fit and good practices into the picture for prosecutors and investigators.
If you create an awareness, people know their rights, you know your do's, you know your don'ts, and you know that you're not supposed to step your bounds, that you're not to step. Because sometimes when you tell women it's a woman's world, it's a woman's right, a woman, you have a limit to everything you're going to do. Everything has a limit, so awareness is very important. And when you create an awareness to people, you also follow up. It's very, very vital. You have to follow it up. Whatever you're inculcating into someone, you have to follow it up so that it will be properly implemented. It will not be implemented outside.
Some of these things are offenses. They are crimes against a woman. You know, there are people that think that, oh, when they say lady and then they hit her or they tap her or harass her, it doesn't really mean anything. Oh, they're just playing with her. But now, with people speaking up, with all of these organizations speaking up, telling people that, oh, women do have rights. You do not have a right to just accost a woman on the street and say, oh, forcefully she has to talk to you and all of these things. You know, talking about it truly does create awareness. And I think with us talking about it more, we eventually get there. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but we will eventually get there. It's a slow process.
And as part of the commemoration of the 2021 International Women's Day celebration, the Lagos State Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has hosted the maiden edition of Women in Uniform. The event, which was held at the Lagos State Secretariat in Alausa, Ikeja, was put together to celebrate female officers with different military and paramilitary organizations in the country. Our correspondent, Abisola Adebayo, reports.
This year's celebration of International Women's Day seeks to appreciate the tremendous efforts by women and girls around the world in shaping a more equal future and recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. The Women in Uniform celebration is one way the Federal Road Safety Corps in Lagos Command is appreciating the resilience of serving female officers. The sector command says the gallant efforts of these women in keeping the home front together while serving in different capacities in their various organizations, especially in the era of the COVID-19 pandemic, is worthy of note.
In Nigeria presently, women are beginning to break out of such stereotypes. This is particularly evident in their achievements in the various fields of endeavors which they are now engaged in. We don't have to search too far to cite examples. It's Is it being a mother, being a wife, being a staff in their various establishments, being pushed into the core heart of that operational aspect of their job, and they are still expected to give in the same performance as their male counterparts, who have a linear means of approach to administration. So women, I give it to you.
On her part, the First Lady of Lagos State says although the coronavirus ushered in a new normal for everyone, women in uniform most especially exhibited remarkable resilience in the enforcement of their duties.
It is on record that women in uniform, including my sisters at the Federal Road Safety Corps, exhibited a remarkable resilience, working tirelessly before, during and after the lockdown, just as much as their menfolk. Indeed, you all deserve our recognition and appreciation.
Since today is about women, let me single out women in uniform and pay glowing tribute for their gallant efforts in keeping their home front together, while also working to protect residents. As frontline workers, officers are susceptible to contracting the virus and other infectious diseases. And one thing I would like to emphasize here is that deliberate and conscientious efforts must be made by relevant authorities to factor in their interests and equally protect them.
One of the panelists says events like these are important to encourage women at the front line to do more in the course of their duty.
Well, it's important for us to encourage women, especially women who are in uniforms, to let them know that yes, they've been empowered by their uniforms, but they are also women and they must rise above patriarchy. Today is an important day for us to remind women of their capacity and their competence, and in every area that they have achieved, they deserve to do because they've earned it.
Women represent an integral part of every society, and history has also shown that the role of women in the society has ensured stability, progress, and long-term development of nations, hence the importance of this celebration. Abisola Adebayo, TV360, Lagos.
Away from the International Women's Day celebration now to other stories, the Oyo State Police Command has confirmed the detention of 3 members of the Oodua People's Congress OPC who were part of the team that arrested notorious Fulani warlord Iskilu Wakili on Sunday morning. Oyo Police Public Relations Officer Fadeyi Olugbenga confirmed the arrest in a statement, warning that people who engage in criminal activities would not be spared in the state. OPC Sector Coordinator Adedeji Oluwole had raised the alarm that 3 of OPC operatives were detained for allegedly arresting Wakili, who has been accused of sundry crimes in the Ayete area of Ibarakwa land of Oyo State. But the police said the 3 OPC members were detained for alleged murder and arson. It alleged that 1 person died in the process of arresting Wakili, and then that the warlord's house was also set ablaze. And meanwhile, the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, has said that the state is aware of the events regarding Fulani warlord Iskilu Wakili, who was arrested on Sunday. Governor Makinde, in a statement on Twitter, said the matter is being handled by the Nigeria Police Force. He urged citizens of the state to stay calm and ensure they report any security breaches in the state. The governor said all necessary steps have been taken to ensure that the interests of the good people of Oyo State are protected. Iskilu Wakili was arrested by a joint team of Ibarakwa security operatives, including Oodua People's Congress Vigilante and other groups. The warlord, whose gang has been accused of killings, kidnapping and other criminal activities, was arrested after several attempts resulting in a gun battle. We'll take a short break here, but still to come, Africa Development Bank signs $400,000 grant with Security and Exchange Commission. Details of that after this break. Don't worry. Welcome back. Now here's a quick reminder of some of our major stories tonight. A former Minister of State for Power in the country, Mohammed Wakil, is to remain in prison custody till March 31st, 2021 on the order of a Federal Capital Territory High Court over his alleged involvement in the mismanagement of the 27 billion naira set aside for the payment of the retirement benefit to staff of the Power Holding Company of Nigeria, PHCN. And we also told you that following the clamor for gender equality in Nigeria, the National Center for Women Development has challenged women to rise up to the occasion and participate in electoral processes. This is a commemoration of the 2021 International Women's Day. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on all our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria, and Facebook by TV360 Online.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it. Use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
And so updates now on the COVID-19 pandemic. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Boss Mustafa, has taken the COVID-19 vaccine alongside other members of the PTF. They took the first jabs of the vaccine on Monday at the briefing of the task force held in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. The Minister of Health, Osage Hanire, Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, and the Director General of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Dr. Chikoye Ekwazu, also took the jab. Earlier in the day, the Senior Special Assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, and the President's Chief of Staff, Ibrahim Gambari, also received their first dose of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine in continuation of the national vaccination exercise. I will take another short break here and return with business stories. Don't go away. Welcome back. Let's now join Mary Kanu for the latest developments in the world of business. It's over to you now, Mary.
Thank you, Oyi. And now in business, oil prices jumped past the $70 a barrel price level at the first trading session of the week for the first time since the pandemic, while U.S. crude touched its highest price level in more than 2 years on reports of terrorist attacks on Saudi Arabia's facilities. Brent crude futures were up by more than $2, trading at $70.84 a barrel, the highest since January 8, 2020, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude surged by 2.4% to 67.69 cents a barrel, the highest since October 2018. And still in business news, the African Development Bank has signed a $400,000 grant with Nigeria's Securities and Exchange Commission to strengthen securities market regulation. Now, this was disclosed in a statement by the federal government, as it said the grant would be used to broaden market instruments. Now, the SEC boss, Lamido Yuguda, said the collaboration further underscores the mutual goal to grow markets and create viable avenues for sustainable economic development for Nigeria and the region. But we'll take a breather here and be back with stock market reviews. Stay with us. Since the start of 2021, the Nigerian stock market has not been particularly impressive as a result of foreign exchange crisis, which have negatively impacted foreign investors' sentiment in the equities market. Now, nevertheless, some medium capitalized stocks like Linkage Assurance and Adovo PLC printed returns, which saw the market end today's trading on a bullish note. Now, in addition, all share index was up at 0.17% as market capitalization also closed at 20 trillion naira. Now, some other equities like Champion and Oando also impacted today's market, which saw gains. Now, similarly, at the end of today's trading, 297 million shares valued at 3.154 billion naira were traded in 4,655 deals. Now, conversely, equities that recorded losses today are Maya and Livestock Feeds. Now, despite the losses recorded by these equities, market breadth closed positive with 25 equities recording gains against 13 losers. Now, similarly, SCOA and Ikeja Hotel PLC also recorded losses to close today's top losers list. Now, on the foreign market, the FTSE and the Dow Jones are trading in the green after oil prices surged for the first time in 14 months, as well as the U.S. Senate passing the long-awaited $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief bill. Now, we can see that FTSE is trading at 1.44%, while Dow Jones is trading at 1.46%. Meanwhile, Asian stock Nikkei couldn't keep its head above waters as it's currently trading in the reds at 0.42%. That's all on stock market review. It's back to Oyin for the rest of the news.
Oh, thank you very much for that update, Mary. Moving on now to the foreign scene, where Senegal's opposition leader Ousmane Sonko has been released after days of deadly protests sparked by his arrest last week. Sonko's lawyers confirmed that he was granted bail by the court in Dakar, the country's capital, on Monday. Sonko was arrested after an employee of a beauty salon accused him of raping her, as said that the charge is politically motivated. At least 8 people, including a schoolboy, have been killed in days of clashes sparked by his arrest in the most serious violence Senegal has seen for several years. And it's now time for Entertainment Report on News Now.
Nigerian singer Barry J has been arrested in Ghana in connection to the death of his label boss Kashi Gordon. News broke on Sunday that Kashi Gordon, the boss of Cash Nation Entertainment, committed suicide by jumping from a balcony in Ghana. Barry J earlier posted a video on social media showing his bloodied mouth, which was as a result of his fight with Kashi. The singer claimed he was beaten up by Kashi and would be ending his relationship with the record label, although the real cause of his death has remained sketchy. On-air personality Ifedayo Olamide, also known as Daddy Freeze, says he will appeal a Rivers State High Court ruling that has asked him to pay a sum of 5 million naira for adultery. The court recently fined Daddy Freeze for having sex with Benedicta Elechi while she was still legally married to Paul Odekina. In his reaction to the ruling, the veteran broadcaster said he was not served by the court, adding that the ruling was issued in his absence. He vowed to head to an appeal court, noting that the judgment is not final until it is decided at the Supreme Court. And that is all that we have for you in the entertainment segment of News Now.
And in sports, Victor Osimhen marked his return from a head injury with a goal and an assist in Napoli's 3-1 win over Bologna in a Serie A clash on Sunday. It was Osimhen's third league goal for the club in 11 appearances since he joined the club last summer from Lille for a club record 70 million euros. Napoli currently sits 6th on the table with 47 points from 25 games and will battle second place AC Milan in their next game on Sunday. Well, that's the latest update on News Now at this time. We thank you very much for watching. I am Oyi Adekunle.